Every town in the Old West handled things differently when it came to running houses of ill repute. From what historians tell us, most places were pretty open about it. Madams just needed to get a license to run their business, and the town made money from those licenses. Some places did things differently. They'd make these businesses pay fines, usually about $8 a month, to stay open. A lot of local officials didn't make a big deal about it because these places helped the local economy. Here's something people get wrong. Not all saloon girls were involved in other services. Most of them actually made their money just by selling drinks. The drinks would cost between 10 and 75 cents, and the girls got a percentage of each sale. Saloon owners would mark up the drinks enough to make money and pay their girls. A typical saloon girl could make about $10 a week. That's like $200 today. Back then, women were pretty much divided into different social groups. You had the proper ladies, the wives, mothers, and daughters who depended on men to support them. Sure, these women looked down on saloon girls, but the men who visited the saloons didn't really care about that. Since there weren't many saloon girls around, they were actually pretty popular with male customers. Funny enough, their lower social status actually made men feel more comfortable around them. Plus, saloon owners had strict rules. Treat the girls badly, and you might get banned, shunned by everyone in town, or even killed. Saloon girls didn't just do one job. They had to handle all kinds of things. Instead of selling sex, most of them entertained men in other ways: singing, talking, and dancing. The actual sex workers were called shady ladies, and they either worked for madames or on their own. Women in brothels actually had a slightly higher social status, and usually worked in places that were pretty open about what they did. Sometimes these shady ladies would work in the same places as the regular saloon girls. While many women chose this job over farm work, it could still be pretty dangerous. Getting killed was a real risk of the job. Some men would get possessive over the girls or try to force them into things they didn't want to do. There was a saloon girl who got beaten up by a customer who also called her names. She said the beating didn't hurt as much as what he called her. Many of them eventually got too old for the work and had nowhere to go. Some ended up dying from suicide, disease, or overdose. People had all kinds of names for saloon girls who offered extra services. Some called them ceiling experts, soiled doves, or horizontal employees. Because they wore more makeup than most women back then, some folks called them painted ladies. You might also hear ladies of the line, scarlet ladies, or sporting women, etc. These nicknames were like a code. People could talk about what these women did without actually saying it. While Victorian fashion was all about being fancy and covered up, saloon girls had their own style. They dressed to stand out. They were supposed to be eye-catching entertainers, so their clothes showed it. They'd wear bright, colorful petticoats that you could actually see, which was pretty shocking back then. Their skirts would stop at the knee or shin, way shorter than the floor-length dresses most women wore. They even showed their garters and stockings, which most people considered underwear at the time. Customers would try to buy drinks for the saloon girls all the time. It was part of the whole experience. But here's the thing, the owners couldn't let their girls get drunk on the job. They came up with a clever trick. When a customer bought a drink for a girl, she'd actually get tea or colored water that looked like alcohol. This way, the girls could drink with every customer without getting drunk, and the saloon kept making money. Dance halls started showing up around 1849, offering something a bit different from regular saloons. The big draw was having dance partners right there. Guys could buy tickets for about $1 each to dance with the girls who worked there. The dancers made money from both the tickets and any drinks they sold after dancing. If a girl was popular, she could make some serious money, more than a month's wages for most men, doing about 50 dances in one night. Working as a saloon girl could actually be pretty comfortable, but it wasn't usually a forever job. With so many single guys trying to strike it rich out west, some of these women would end up marrying customers. The owners tried to prevent this by limiting how long a customer could spend with any one girl. They figured if people couldn't get to know each other too well, the girls would stick around longer. People in the 1800s had some pretty strict ideas about sex. Some folks thought it should only be for having kids, so women who offered those services often got treated pretty badly by society. But sometimes it was one of the only ways women could make money, especially if their husbands had died. These women would charge anywhere from $1 to $50 for their services to support themselves and their families. People might think sex work all happened in secret, but in the Old West, it was actually pretty open, mainly because a lot of places didn't have real government yet. Historians think about 25% of people were involved in sex work, usually in brothels or fancy parlor houses. These places would hang red lanterns outside and often had game rooms or dancing areas. The women in these houses had bouncers to protect them, unlike the ones working on the streets. As women got older, some would move to smaller houses, but keep working for the madams who previously employed them. Most settlers heading west in the 1840s and 50s, looking for gold, were men. Sure, some women came out as mail-order brides or with their families, but most guys came alone. The gender demographics were utterly unbalanced. There were about 3 men for every woman. Get this. In 1850, about 90% of people in California were men. This meant the few women who were there could make decent money working in saloons. Thank you very much. Please like and share. If you find the video content interesting and useful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.